This video is a little different than my normal commentaries because usually I'm strictly talking about the balance of a perk, and in this video I am talking about the balance, but I'm more focusing on the community's visceral reaction to such a bland perk. Wait, I forgot to do the intro. Like, subscribe? Because I asked nicely? I don't know. Excuse my voice this week, I'm still sick. Awesome. Guys, I am honestly gonna say I can't believe I'm making a video about this. There is a perk on the survivor side of Dead by Daylight that is so controversial that every time I open my phone, I see some kind of post about how problematic it is. Of all the perks in this game, why this one? The perk we are talking about, of course, is Distortion. With the release of so many Scream perks recently, Distortion and Calm Spirit both have skyrocketed in pick rate, and though they were never useless perks, they used to be considered useless perks. All of a sudden, people are so mad at Distortion. Now, let's look back to when Distortion was released. Why was this perk even made? Distortion released in Darkness Among Us, which is Legion and Jeff's chapter. This chapter released just over 2 years after Dead by Daylight had released. Now, the reason I bring all this up is because Dead by Daylight, when it was first released, was intended to be a scary hide-and-seek game. Devs have said multiple times that they never expected the game to reach the point it's at now, where people take it very seriously, it's competitive, and there's metas involved. In the devs' eyes, this game would be a game where you hide in lockers when the killer's close, and you crouch in corners when you hear the terror radius. Obviously, as we know, that's not what the game evolved to be. I did not play in 2018, so I'm not sure what the flow of the game was like. However, we can at least assume that this perk was added for survivors that feel like they get found too much, and they want to be comfortable crouching in a corner and hiding. And again, objectively, everyone's entitled to their own playstyle. If it's in the game, you can do it, it's simple as that. But subjectively, I'm putting my opinion here, I don't understand how that's fun for anyone. But anyways, time goes on, Distortion actually gets buffed because nobody's using it. It has a little spike in discussion in 2021 and 2022 because of the Lethal Pursuer buff, which made all aura reading builds stronger. Where on Killer, you could burn through the survivor's Distortion stacks by kicking the gens. Yet another reward for the killer for kicking gens. If you haven't seen my Forged in Fog video, I do a really deep dive as to how unhealthy that chapter was, including Nowhere to Hide, so I would love if you went and watched that. Plus, I put so much time into that video and it flopped, so hey, go check it out. Anyways, back to this topic. Distortion would go relatively under the radar, no pun intended, until the Calm Spirit Distortion meta. Now yes, in 2022, there was a lot of talk about Distortion because of all the aura reading builds, and being able to counter 4 perks with 1 perk doesn't really seem balanced. But obviously everyone came to the conclusion of, okay, if you're running into so many distortions, stop running aura reading builds. And then we were introduced to a little perk called Ultimate Weapon. Ultimate Weapon is a Scream perk which allows you to cause survivors to scream instead of revealing their auras by checking a locker and then having the survivor enter your terror radius. A lot of people actually stacked this with Darkness Revealed, which was an aura reveal perk, but as time went on, people realized Ultimate Weapon was stronger. And this is where the Calm Spirit Distortion meta started. It went from a very niche build to people that are very scared of chase interaction to a very common build that people were seeing the same amount they were seeing made for this. And because of its rise in popularity, there was obviously more discussion about the build. The reason I'm so confused in this situation, and this is opinion, is Distortion is not a strong perk in any way. I understand that fundamentally it's not very fair, because when it was buffed, it allows for survivors to refill their stacks by being in the killer's terror radius. And countless people on the internet, and I mean so many, think that it should be reworked from time in terror radius to time in chase. So then the survivor does not have the option to not be seen for the entirety of the game. Again, from someone like me that literally only plays DBD for chase interaction, it baffles me that people want to play that way. However, we have to look at this objectively and realize if they want to play that way, they get to play that way. In the same way killers get to run knockout and slug, survivors get to hide in corners and never see the killer. It's not breaking any laws. The perk is in the game. Use the perk, you know? Again, subjectively, I think it's a stupid design. I think if you play that way, it's strange. But objectively, if it's in the game, you can use it. Nobody's at fault here. So why am I making a video about this perk? Well, one, because it's controversial and I want to know how you guys feel about it, because there's definitely stuff I'm not bringing up that I'd like to be brought up in the comments. And two, it brings up that weird invisible line of division between killers and survivors. I am not alone in thinking this, but DBD is the most political parallel of any game I've ever played. The way the two parties self-divide instead of coming together for changes is actually insane to watch, because things are being taken so seriously, like it is life or death, when we are all playing a 4v1 asymmetrical cartoon horror game and we're treating it like it's the end of the world. Guys, if you have a survivor crouch in your killer games, you're gonna be okay. And survivors, if your teammate is in a corner self-carrying with distortion, first of all, it's probably a Claudette. Second of all, just go next. In my opinion, I do believe the buff was a little silly because it does allow for survivors to infinitely never be seen, especially if stacked with Calm Spirit. But also, it only counters one mechanic in this game, which is aura revealing. If it's that big of a deal to you on killer, either remove all your aura builds or just spam aura reveals, spam darkness revealed, spam nowhere to hide, and guess what? They'll run out of stacks. Now, I want to make this clear. I would love to discuss this perk further in the comments. I enjoy talking about balance of any game or any perk in DBD or anything like that. I think talking about balance is fun, but I cannot believe how many people are up in arms about a perk that was released 5 years ago. Killer mains, go play Survivor. Survivor mains, go play Killer. You guys are pissing me off. Because when you read the opinions about Distortion, you can so easily tell that they only play one role. Because if you were a sane person that plays both roles the way the devs intended this game to be played, then you'd realize there's trade-offs on both sides. There's solutions on both sides. Yes, voicing a want for a rework is completely fine. That's healthy, that's fair, I get it. But your life is not going to end because some survivor with 4 hours in the game is crouching in a corner hiding their aura infinitely. It's a corny perk, but guess what? It's dead by daylight. Not everything is serious. Now, I understand, metas come and go. This perk used to not be strong, now it is. I fully get that, okay? But it's not strong. And you know that, and I know that. You just don't like the playstyle. And again, I fully get that. But just because you don't like the playstyle doesn't mean it needs to be removed from the game. If that were the case, base kit Unbreakable would have gone through to live servers. Because everybody hates being slugged, so since they hate that playstyle, it should just have no way to be played, right? No, because that's not how playstyles work. Things in this game only get changed when we can unanimously agree on something, or when it's a game-breaking mechanic. Such as Skull Merchant being able to hold a game hostage until the server closes, or the community hating face camping so much that they added a little meter that doesn't really do anything, but it's okay. At least they tried. So, let me give you my final summary. In my opinion, I think Calm Spirit Distortion is incredibly boring to play as, it's boring to play against, it's literally avoiding every fun aspect of Dead by Daylight. However, opinion aside, just because I don't like the playstyle does not mean I get to decide it gets removed. Y'all are welcome to keep voicing your opinions on social media. It's not like you're not doing it anyways. But coming for people's throats because they don't want chase interaction is such weird behavior to me. DBD is really good at taking things too far. I would say only in Dead by Daylight and Overwatch will you see someone so angry about such a minuscule thing in a video game that they will threaten someone's life for it. Y'all are weird for that. Anyways, I would actually love to know how you guys feel about Distortion. Again, I fully do believe that forcing the survivor to be in chase in some aspect is a lot healthier than letting them camp in the killer's terror radius for Distortion stacks. I get that 100%, and I would agree with that. But I would love to know how you guys feel about the perk. And finally, I know this video was weird. It almost feels like a rant more than anything else. But guys, my entire timeline scrolling on social media was Distortion for like 2-3 days. I could not believe it. If you want to be mad about a perk, be mad that Save the Best for Last got accidentally buffed when Killer's recovery rate got buffed. Devs clearly said that was not an intended change. And if you want to be mad at Survivor perks, go, man, they got everything nerfed, huh? And if you want to be mad about Survivor perks, be mad at haste stacking. or the fact that the survivor is better off staying injured, because that is something that's actually extremely unhealthy for the game, and not some random bot in the corner self-caring with distortion and calm spirit, okay? Go be mad about something that deserves being mad about. I don't think that was proper English, but anyways, y'all have a wonderful day. I love you all, and I will see you next week. Adios.